Because the wind will blow today at over 200 miles an hour as the IZOD IndyCar Series once again sets sail in the Midwest. And we welcome you to the Kansas Speedway. It's stop number 5 of 17 races on the 2010 IZOD IndyCar Series Tour. And 27 cars in this field today. And there they are down on the pit lane getting ready to fire engines just a few moments from now. Let's check in on our IZOD IndyCar Series point standings after the first 4 races. And as you would expect, the guys that have won are up top. Will Power with 2 wins, followed by Helio Castroneves and Ryan Hunter-Reay, each with 1 win this season. Now, there is our points leader, Will Power. He is not going to be sitting on pole. That's going to go to Ryan Briscoe. And Helio Castroneves, of course, his other teammate, a 3-time Indy 500 winner. Let's hear from him, Vince Welch.
Well, it is officially the month of May, this being May 1st, and anytime you talk about May and racing, you got to talk about this guy, Helio Castroneves. He'll look to join that elite group of 4-time winners at Indianapolis later this month. Is there anything that you can take from this oval race here at Kansas? I know things are a lot different than what you'll see at the Indianapolis 500, but is there anything that you can take from this race to the 500 later this month?
You know, technical, actually the rules are completely different, but you can take the rhythm, you know, kind of like the momentum. You kind of understand about your competitors, you know, because when you go to the month of May, that's who you're going to race against. So that's the only thing basically you take, which is a lot, believe it or not. When you're going to the Indy 500, those small details makes a big difference.
Well, Helio will certainly be one of the favorites at Indianapolis. One of the favorites today, this guy, his teammate Ryan Briscoe. Team Penske has won 3 of the 4 races this season. Ryan looks to get to victory lane today. What changes in the driver's mindset as you transition from the road and street courses to the ovals?
Well, it changes it a lot. You know, the road and street courses, you drive so aggressively, and we're hitting curbs and bumps and always driving the car sideways. And you know, the ovals, you really got to take it down a notch and be very smooth and precise, and really work with your engineer on the very fine details like Helio was talking about. But I'm excited, you know, we were strong on all the 1.5 miles last year, and Indy, of course, and it's been a long time since Homestead, but I'm really excited to be back here in Kansas.
Ryan Briscoe starts from the pole here today. Team Penske has won 3 of the first 4 this season, Marty.
Thank you, Vince. And as you take a look at the statistics, remember the first 4 races have all been on road and street courses. That's the strength of Will Power. That's where he's got his 2 wins here in 2010. As you can see, he has yet to win on the oval. So as we come topside, we bring in Scott Goodyear. Let's talk a little bit more about Will, because it reminds me of the days when Sam Hornish was running the series, and it's just the opposite.
It really is the opposite. I mean, with Will, he's so strong on the road courses, you know, and you speak to him here this weekend, you don't sense the same amount of confidence with Will here as you did maybe like at St. Pete's or Long Beach. So for him, he knows he just wants to get out of here with points. He even said maybe a top 5, and that's his thinking, because he knows he's in a learning process right now.
That's the way Sam Hornish used to be. If I could get top 5 on the road course, I'd be happy. So it's interesting how it works, and they do have 2 championships, a road course championship for the series and an oval. But, you know, let's talk about the guys that have traditionally been right up there fighting with Team Penske, and of course that's Chip Ganassi's racing. But they've got a big surprise this year. Their performance, or lack thereof, by the team. Last year's title chase was a knockdown drag-out with Team Penske, but errors by both Dario Franchitti and Scott Dixon, coupled with tactical errors and a few bad breaks, have left the team looking up from a very unfamiliar position. And here are the numbers to back this up. And you can see in 2009, each of them had wins at this point. They were 4th and 1st in the points. Look at it, they're tied for 5th. And look at the laps led, just 55 so far this year. Jamie Little?
Well, it certainly hasn't been the start of the season that Scott Dixon or Dario Franchitti won. But the good news, Dario, you guys are back on an oval. And here at Kansas, a place, you guys, this team has won the last 3 races. With that said, how do you think this can affect the outcome?
Yeah, the Target team has always done a great job here at Kansas. But, you know, last year and most years we've done a good job on all kinds of tracks. We just start of the season's been a bit slow on the road courses, and the street courses just didn't get we weren't making the right choices. I made some mistakes, the guys made some mistakes, so we're happy to be here in Kansas. We think the Suave car is good enough to win, but I think that number 9 Target car is pretty good too.
All right, he's the defending series champion, looking for his first win here at Kansas. Marty?
And he's going to be starting third today on the grid. As you see, there is the 27-car field. And as we mentioned, it is the month of May. 4 weeks from tomorrow, and we'll be at the Brickyard for the greatest spectacle in racing. Can Helio Castroneves win his 4th race at the 500? Or does Danica Patrick turn another page of the history book? Find out on ABC Sunday, May 30th. We'll be on the air at noon. We're on the laps around the track here, being introduced to all the fans, the 27 cars on the starting grid as we get ready for race number 5 of the 2010 IndyCar Series Tour. You know, so far this year, 4 drivers from Andretti Autosports have redefined the team's position within the series, and the turnaround on the road courses has been led by Tony Kanaan and especially Ryan Hunter-Reay. With a second at Brazil and a win at Long Beach, the question now is, can Andretti Autosport do as well on the ovals? And Rick DeBrule, we may be getting some of our answers early.
Yeah, what a great start to the season it was. Not just a win for Ryan Hunter-Reay, but the first win for Andretti Autosport in 2 years. But they come here, and it's been a frustrating weekend, qualified 22nd. Did you guys find anything overnight to increase the speed of this car?
Well, you know, there's no panic yet. I mean, this team gives us some great race cars. You know, we've only half the time we've been racing together, we've been on the podium. So we know we can get it right. We're working at it. We looked at some things from yesterday. We put one thing on the card to see if we have an answer. But the good thing is, the main picture is Indy, and we have time to sort it all out before then.
And what do you want to get out of this weekend to take to Indy? What is you're trying to get out of this today?
Well, you know, Tony last year had an issue with a car that he had to switch last minute, and there's some issues there that they're looking at, and you know, we think that the car is good. The Honda engine's definitely good. So there's just there might be some mechanical drag that we need to work out, something like that. But it's definitely solvable for sure before the big picture, which is Indy. So we're not panicked here. We'll go out there, we'll have a good race today, and head to Indy.
All right, a great finish is great, but the warm-up for Indy is what really matters. Of course, his teammate is also a little frustrated with this weekend. For more on that, let's go to Vince Welch.
Tony Kanaan won this race in 2005. He was 3rd last year in the same car he's running today, but we haven't seen many smiles from you this weekend. What's been the issue, TK?
Yeah, Vince, I don't know. I think we haven't found the setup this weekend. We seem a little slow. We work on full tanks a lot, so qualifying wasn't going to be really representative, but I wasn't expecting to start this far back. But we got to keep a positive attitude. I think we do have a good race car. It's going to be tough, though, because the field is so close right now, but let's go race. That's all we can do.
Tony Kanaan, I don't care what kind of race car he's got, he always seems to be in the mix at the end, doesn't he, Marty?
That's true, Vince. Take a look at the numbers again from the first 4 races, and you can see that Ryan Hunter-Reay has been carrying the banner, and Danica Patrick has been struggling mightily on the road courses, but yet she is now the top qualifier for this team, and that is 9th. And that tells us one thing: what necessarily works on one discipline, like the road and street courses, doesn't necessarily transfer to the oval.
And the team's had a lot of changes. Obviously, Michael Andretti is now the sole owner of that team, Andretti Autosport. They think they got lost maybe in some engineering issues last year, but right now they have to find their speed here at Kansas because Indy is a big race, a lot of sponsorship in that team. They know how important it is.
Well, one of the teams that we thought was going to be one of the players this year early as the most improved was KV Racing, but now the eyes are focused on Dreyer and Reinbold because they've been garnering a lot of attention. 6 top 10s between their 2 drivers, Justin Wilson and Mike Conway. And Justin has finished 2nd twice. And now Dreyer and Reinbold looks to carry that momentum here onto the ovals. And here are the numbers for these 2 teams. And you can see it's very impressive, especially when you look at the fact they've got 6 top 10s. And Thomas Schechter will be in a 3rd car for this team at the Indianapolis 500. Let's check in once again with Jamie Little.
Well, Justin Wilson making his 3rd start here at Kansas, 3rd different team. And with that said, you were very optimistic about this car yesterday heading into practice, but you had some issues. What were they?
Well, at first we had a lot of understeer and was washing out, had to get out the throttle before hitting the wall. So we fixed that. Everything was great in qualifying. The car felt fantastic, but wasn't quite as quick as we were hoping for. So we've studied the data, we've made it a little bit better, and I think this charter car can actually be pretty quick in the race, and I'm hoping we can move forwards a lot.
Well, he's been great on a road course. He hopes to prove he's just as good on an oval. Marty?
And Justin Wilson, another one of those guys, very strong on the road courses, and a smile from Danica Patrick as we will be waiting to see, can she make a rebound on the oval? Sarah Fisher, one of 4 women in the race. This is the first time we've seen Sarah this year, as she's a specialist on the ovals. Milka Duno will be starting 24th, and a young lady that we'll introduce you to, Silvestre Di Simona, when we come back here, as Simona Di Silvestre will be starting 18th. And we'll meet her when we